Good morning, happy Monday. The passage for today is Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. And it reads as follows: Fathers, do not embitter or provoke your children, or they will become discouraged. This week, for better or worse, this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to focus on dads, because this passage, which interestingly is quite similar to a passage we find in Ephesians chapter 6, where Paul writes, Fathers, do not exasperate your children. This passage is our focus. Now, it's worth noting, Colossians 3 and Ephesians 6 are similar. It's also worth noting, in neither case is this counsel directed at mothers. There are passages directed just at women, but not about embittering their children. And I suspect that's because when moms make mistakes, they're often made in the opposite direction. They're a little bit they mess up because they're not willing to let children perhaps fail. They coddle them, or they don't cut the apron strings, or whatever other politically incorrect thing I can say at this moment. I am aware that some of this is all generalization, and again, no doubt it's politically incorrect. I'm sure I'll be canceled soon, but it is exactly what we see in this focus on dads. And we're going to focus on this because we receive this very specific counsel from Paul to fathers: do not embitter your children. Do not cause them to be resentful. Do not unnecessarily make them angry. So there's two big ideas that undergird this. The first is that the family is going to take a lead role in shaping children. This is not necessarily stated in the Bible. It's just sort of always assumed that the family is the first institution. It's more primary than the state. And the family is the metaphor also used to describe the church. The church is to be like a family. We get adopted into the family of God. It is to be this, the family is to be this community of grace, hope, and love, just like we talk about the church is to be a community of grace, hope, and love. So we're doing a lot of social experimentation in the West these days. I do not believe it will end well. But suffice it to say, the first idea here is that the primary ways that children are going to be shaped in every way, including spiritually, is going to be the family. The second implied assumption here is that dads have tremendous influence over their children. Remarkably, this is news to some. You would think it's obvious, but you would think it's obvious, and you might actually even think it's unfair. I want to be really clear, not trying to undermine in any sense single moms or single parents who are doing Herculean jobs and deserve a medal, not in any sense any discouragement. But what we see is the stated influence that fathers have. There was a study done. It was done a few years ago. I haven't seen it recently, but there was a study done on church attendance. And I don't remember the specifics, but it was like if a child or even a high school student starts to attend church, of 100 high school students that are attending church without their family attending, 9 of those families will follow. And we see this with Shig. We see, somebody starts to come to Shig, and then pretty soon their parents come. They go, wow, we're trying to figure out what's gotten into our kid. When a mother starts to attend church, starts to show up at one of the, Bible studies, or starts to show up on Sunday morning, whatever, starts to show up at church without her family, about 25% of the families will start to show up. If a father starts to show up at church by himself, we know that it is likely 95% of the time the family is going to follow. That is a divine gift. It's a special influence. It is not earned. It does not mean that children whose fathers do not attend church or children whose fathers are not in the home are destined to fail. No, it doesn't mean that at all. Mothers can and often step up in Herculean ways. Other people can step up. God can step up. So some people seem to thrive almost because their father is not around. But the point is, there are a couple of assumptions here that undergird what we're going to look at tomorrow and Wednesday, and that is that families are critical, dads are critical to families, fathers, you have influence, for better or worse, hard to overstate, undeserved influence in your families. Therefore, be careful not to embitter your children. Have a good day.